Hey, y'all, and welcome to our 2020-2021 Southside Virtual Open House. I am so excited to welcome you today. We've got a lot of great information on this site for you, and I'm going to give you just a couple of key things that you might want to look for, and we'll have Zoom sessions available for you to meet and talk with teachers today from 5:30 to 6:30. So welcome. We're super excited to have you. I've got some notes here. I don't usually go by notes, but I've got some notes to make sure that I have several different things to tell you about. So I'm going to start working my way through those. I think the very first thing I want to say, though, is we all know that this is a really unusual school year, and there's a lot of nervousness and trepidation out there about what it's going to look like. And so, what the first thing I want to do is to tell you that we're here and we understand the feelings that you're having. We have a lot of the same. We know that this is going to be a really unusual school year, and we know that safety is going to be paramount. And so I just want to let you know that if you are nervous or you have any reservations, just know that we're here for you and we hear you and we understand. And if you have questions that you'd like for us to answer, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at school. And I'll go over contact information here just a little bit in just a minute. But I want to start by talking to you a little bit about what the first day of school is going to look like, because it's going to be different, right? It's a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. It's going to be really important for all of our students to bring their Chromebooks with them every day, even beginning on the first day of school. Tomorrow, which will be after you've seen this probably, but we're going to be swapping out our sophomore Chromebooks. We'll be taking up the Chromebooks they used in ninth grade, and those will be recycled down to lower grades and giving them new Chromebooks that they'll be able to use for their next couple of years. So we're really super excited about that. So hopefully you've been able to come and change out your Chromebook. If you're new to the district, you're new to Southside, we'll be exchanging those Chromebooks on Thursday. Well, actually, we won't be exchanging anything, right? We'll have a Chromebook available for you on Thursday. So there'll be more information about that for you if you're new to the district. Schedules. We're not going to have paper schedules this year, which is different, but we're trying to really minimize our use of paper and go paperless as much as possible. So schedules will be available for your students in the Home Access Center for eSchool. They'll also be available in Schoology. And if you are a returning student here in the Fort Smith Public Schools, Schoology is really easy to get to. You can just go through Clever, just like you've done with other things. But if you've never been in Schoology before, we've got some links that we'll be sending out to you about how to get in. But you can go even to the Fort Smith website, Fort Smith Public Schools website, and find the link into Schoology, and you'll log in just with your same user ID, your school email account, and your school passwords that you've been using. And you'll be able to see your classes in there. So there's multiple ways for you to be able to get to your classes. So those things will be available for students on the very first day. But it's important for us to remember that that we're not going to pass out to you paper schedules. We'll need to make sure that we can access those in a variety of ways. As some people have been asking me, like, I don't have a Hack parent viewer, or I don't have a Schoology parent viewer. And this year, our forms that we're going to send out, rather than send out a paper packet of forms, we're going to have a link for you to follow, and you can fill all of those things out on the link. And one of those says, I need a Schoology parent account. And if you send us that you need that, then we can email that to you. Same thing with Hack forms. For you to be able to see the home access viewer. So it'll be very important, very, very, very important for you to find the forms link that will be available for you on this site and go in and fill all those out instead of doing that paper packet that comes home on the first day. There's a lot of really important information in there, like our student handbook. The free and reduced lunch application is there. And that's a really important one too. A lot of people say, well, now that we're blended and we're coming and we're going, we're virtual, we're not going to eat lunch at school, so we really don't need to fill that out. But it's never been more important to fill that out than it is right now. There are a lot of advantages to your student, including free ACTs, SATs, PSATs, those things, but also funding for our school. There's a lot of funding that rides on our free and reduced lunch status. And so it's very important for us to be able to continue to provide programs and services for us to make sure that we have students who fill out those free and reduced lunch forms. So when in doubt, fill it out. I mean, even if you're not sure if you would qualify, a lot of people qualify now after changes to employment status due to COVID-19. So when in doubt, it's just a link right there on those forms. It's really easy to do. What lunch will you have? Lunches, if you're taking classes face-to-face, are based on your 5th or your 6th period teacher. So those different people have lunches based on where their location is in the building and some other factors. So half of our students will have a lunch based on their 5th period teacher on A day, and half of our students will have a lunch based on their 6th period teacher on B day. So it's based on those two class periods, 5th and 6th period on A day and B day, which gets me around to block schedule. You know, I know that was a big transition to throw in there, but we're super excited about block schedule. What that means is on A day, we'll have 4 classes that meet, and it'll be all the odd classes, 1, 3, 5, and 7. And on B day, our even classes will meet. That'll be 2, 4, 6, and then after 6 is a flex period. So during that, our teachers have office hours. Several of our sports teams practice. There might be sectionals in band or orchestra. There'll be different opportunities for you to do things during that flex period. So when you come into the school on the first day of school, that will be A day. And you'll see different posters around the building that say A day. And then on the next day when you come, you'll see they're flipped and they'll say B day. And we have a calendar that we will provide to all of you in your Schoology account that shows you which days are A days and which days are B days. It's really a 2-week rotation. So on the first week of school, Monday's A, B is Tuesday, Wednesday's A, B is Thursday, Friday's A. And then the next week we turn around and we go B, A, B, A, B. And then the next week, it flips right back around. So really over 10 days, for that first week, it's A, B, A, B, A. And the second week, it's B, A, B, A, B. And we'll get used to it really, really quickly. Those class periods will be 90 minutes. And so if you're doing your work from home as a blended student, you'll prepare for 4 classes on A day and 3 classes on B day. So I think that that'll be really, really great. There's a couple of other things that we've done this year just in the name of safety. We've extended our passing periods to 6 minutes because some of our hallways will be up. Some of our stairwells will be up only and some of them will be down only in order to try to keep our students from having quite as much face-to-face there in the stairwells. So because we also have construction, right? So the amount of time it takes us to get around in the halls is a little bit longer. So we're going to go with a 6-minute passing period. In addition, we're not going to use lockers this year, which is a change, right? Everything will be done with student backpacks. And the reason that we've chosen to do that is lockers tend to be a place where people congregate in the hallways, or if you've got a locker next to somebody else's, you're really close. And we're trying to make sure that we provide the safest atmosphere possible. So we want our students to move quickly in the hallways, get to their next class, and try to avoid congregating in the hallways. So we won't use lockers. All the lockers will be pinned, and we won't use those this year. We'll be just using backpacks. So that's something to keep in mind when you're coming on the first day of school. You're going to want to make sure you bring a backpack. So as textbooks are distributed to you, you'll be able to get those in your backpack. And parents, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing we're not going to congregate in lockers. We'll be, one thing that's really interesting about this school year is that it's what we call blended. So what that means is students can come and get face-to-face assistance in classes where they really feel like they need it. And if a student feels really comfortable with that subject and they want to do it from home, they don't have to be here on campus, which is a unique situation for parents as far as checking students in and checking them out, because we do need to know where they are. Even though it's going to feel a lot more like a college campus with A days and B days, and with students being able to come and go, it's very important for us to be able to make sure that we know students are on campus or off campus. So students are going to be allowed to come and go without you calling to check them in if we have your permission. So one of the forms that's in those back to school forms, that link I was telling you about, is a permission slip for your students to be able to come and go. It's going to be critical that you complete this, because if you if you want your students to be able to come and go without you calling, we have to have your permission. If we don't, then your students will, if they've come on campus, they'll need to remain on campus unless you call and check them out. So that can get really hairy, right? So if you are okay with your students coming for classes where they need additional help and doing the others from home to limit their exposure, it's really critical that you fill that permission slip piece out for us before the first day of school. If you're going to allow them to come and go beginning on the first day of school, I really need that information. If not, you're going to have to call for them, and that's really complicated. The other thing to keep in mind is students are not going to be able to come and go in the middle of a class. So what they'll do is there's a QR code, and they'll scan it if they're leaving campus. If they're coming into campus after the first bell for 8 o'clock, they'll scan it so we know they're on campus. And we'll go over that with them in detail that first day of school so they understand how to come and go. But parents, it's up to you to tell them that that's okay. Without your permission slip, then they'll be counted as an unexcused absence, and we'll have to contact you if you haven't called them out or haven't given them that permission to come and go. So be sure you watch for that in that forms link and get that filled out for them. We're accessible to you by email. I mean, we're absolutely accessible to you by email, but sometimes we get backlogged. And so wanted to let you know, if you call and leave a message for us, if you leave an email for us, give us 24 hours and we will get back to you just as quickly as we can. But with students being off campus more, sometimes it takes us a little bit longer because it gets backlogged. So 24 hours and we will return your phone call and we'll return your email. We want to make sure we keep that open line of communication. It's really important for our people to know, especially in this time while we are separated, that at Southside there's a place for everybody. Everybody can get involved at Southside. We have over 60 clubs and organizations, and there's a place for everyone to get involved. So we'll be having some virtual signups for those clubs and organizations. They'll be doing a lot of their meetings on Zoom until we have more of an all clear to be able to hold club meetings after school. But we will be still trying as hard as we can to keep your students engaged and to be proud members of the Southside community. So I think that's really important. One thing that you'll see if you come on our campus is that we are a construction zone. We ask you to pardon our dust and to give us a little grace while we're working through the construction progress. It's coming along so beautifully. The new front entrance will be available to you by the end of September, early October, and our new offices with our secure vestibules. We are so excited about that. In addition, our School of Innovation classrooms will be open and we'll be moving into that beautiful new space. We are working on a beautiful courtyard for our kids to be able to eat outside. One of the best ways to keep our students safe is to get them outside and socially distance as much as possible. So we're putting out tables and chairs, and we've got picnic tables on order, and we're trying to come up with some beautiful shade structures and landscaping to provide our students as much opportunity, especially when the weather gets beautiful this fall, to be outside as much as possible. So we ask your grace and pardon with us right now as we're working through our construction. A couple of pieces to keep in mind. Our campus is closed to visitors at the moment and will be, even when we have your lovely students here on campus, we'll be closed to visitors. So if you have business that you need to take care of here in the office, we ask that you call us in advance so that we have you on our list. It keeps us from having too many people in the office and being able to keep things distanced. So we ask you to remember that. In addition, in the past, our students have been able to have vendors bring meals to them here on campus. And during this time, while we're not having visitors, we won't be accepting deliveries on campus of meals. So we ask that your students either eat the food that's prepared that we have here on campus or to bring their lunch. That's a really good option for our students as well. If a student has forgotten a packed lunch and you need to run it up here, that's fine. You'll have to call us and someone will have to meet you outside the doors. But we ask that you not get into the habit of bringing them food from an outside vendor every day at lunch. It just creates a bottleneck of people needing to get in the building or to meet us during the lunch hour, and we're trying to keep the numbers of people inside our buildings at a minimum in order to keep our students and faculty safe. So we know that you understand the dilemma that we're in at this time. So our babies are going to need to make sure that they're prepared. Either you can put money on their lunch cards and they can participate in lunch here. We're going to have our courtyard open outside. We'll have grab and go lunches. They can eat outside on our picnic tables. In addition, we're using our East Safe Room as a cafeteria. We'll have those tables spread out, two to a table, trying to socially distance as much as possible. In addition, some of our teachers have allowed students to eat in their classroom. They'll have to keep that to a low number. I know in the past we've had lots of kids eat in classrooms, but we have to be able to spread out without masks in order to eat in a classroom. So that's really critical. Masks are mandated here in our state and in our public schools. And so it will be very important at any time that our students are not able to socially distance for them to wear a mask. So we ask that they, come with a mask each day. They're going to need to wear those in the hallways and in any classrooms where there are so many students that we're not able to spread out. If we're able to spread out 6 feet apart, they'll be able to take them off. We're also hoping there'll be times when our teachers can take their classes outside, go for a walk, maybe sit in some of these tables that we're working on, take advantage of this courtyard space, and get out in the fresh air, which is wonderful as well. So we're addressing all of those things. The last thing I'd like to do is speak to my parents of sophomores. One great option that we have this year that we so wanted to promote for you in the spring, but with our virtual academy coming up and going, we thought it was too messy to try to roll both out at the same time. But we have this beautiful STAR School of Innovation for our sophomores, and it is such a lovely option that is between our virtual and our blended environment, because the classes that are in there are self-paced. They're written by our teachers. Our teachers wrote courses this summer for sophomores in English, in math for geometry and algebra 2, in science for biology and chemistry, and in social studies for civics and economics. And they're written at both the on level and the pre-AP levels of instruction. So if you have a sophomore who is interested in being able to work at their own pace, but with our teachers teaching it, our virtual school is a beautiful option, but our teachers don't teach those classes. Those classes are through Pearson, and we're just there for office hours to help with any snags that your students may find. It's not our curriculum. It's a little bit different. But the STAR curriculum is written and facilitated by our teachers in our classrooms. And so students have a class in their day that they can come and meet with teachers for that, but they can also work at their own pace and take advantage of all of our classes that are here. They can be in our family and consumer science classes. They can be in some of the AP classes that are not available through Pearson. So there's a lot of really beautiful options for sophomores, and I really encourage you guys to take a look at that. There'll be a page here for you to check that out. So sophomore parents, I strongly encourage you to take a look at that STAR program. We will be adding juniors next year, so if your sophomores get in, they can move up as juniors, and the next year will go up as seniors as well. So it's a really great option. Another thing that's beautiful about it is when they finish the coursework, if they finish all of their sophomore coursework in March, then they're able to continue on into their junior coursework. So it's a really great opportunity to accelerate. So lots of really great things happening here at Southside High School. I've said many, many times, Mavericks are ones who reach out and they try new things and they blaze trails for people behind them. And never at any time in our history has it been so important to be a Maverick in education. And we feel very strongly about offering your students multiple pathways to success, finding ways for parents and students to be comfortable and to feel safe, to be able to come and go to the classes where they need as much assistance as they can, but minimize their exposure. So more than anything else, while you're at this open house, check out your teachers' pages. Go in and visit with your teachers by Zoom. Check out the forms. Make sure you fill out all of your forms because students can't come and go without your permission. Fill out that free and reduced lunch application. That's going to be really, really important. Make sure that your students have access to either Home Access Center or to Schoology in order to be able to see their schedules. And I encourage them to write them down somewhere, take a picture with their phone so they know exactly which classes they're going to. We will keep them outside until the first bell rings. So students, when they come to school on Monday, you can either remain in your cars until 8:05. You may go to the East Safe Room to grab breakfast. We'll have breakfast carts outside. We'll have tables and chairs, and we'll remain out there until they can start entering the building at 8 o'clock and go directly to their classrooms. We don't want to have any congregation where we feel like we have a risk of exposure. If you have more questions, feel free to shoot me an email. I'm at lmiller@fortsmithschools.org, or you can reach out to one of the assistant principals. The sophomore assistant principal is Michelle Burnett. She's new to our faculty, and we're so excited to have her. Our junior assistant principal is Mr. Jeff Pruitt, and our senior assistant principal is Mr. Steve Arnold. If there's anything I can do for you at any time, please let me know. And welcome to Southside. Thank you.